Greetings and welcome to another edition of the Samuel Show with your host, Samuel Automatic. So, I've just activated my new account with, because my old account got hacked. So, I had 27 subscribers and I've done a heap of episodes, but I haven't been done them for ages. So I think I've done 3 or 4 episodes on the last one, and this is the first episode on this one. So I'm still setting up, but what I might do is download the old ones and then re-upload onto here through Google Drive or something like that. Right. Yes. So I don't know. I suppose I'm just gonna keep doing my notes and research. Because I've got June, July, and August now, so I could probably just rehash old stuff with links, and then I can look at the links up through here and go through there. I bought a heap of accessories for my coloured hats. So that's the brown hat or the mustard hat. Then I've got a yellow hat, a blue hat, a green hat, and is it purple? And a purple hat. They all have meanings, but unless you've got the scroll key, you're not going to understand. And I've also got myself a pirate hat. And then I've got the admiral hat or the great helmsman hat. And I can do news on each hat. But yeah, to understand, well, it's all open source soft information anyway. So yeah, I can talk about open source information, and each hat will define the meaning of the content that's open source that I'm conveying, if that makes sense. And I'll just get better at it as I go by. So yeah, I went to Northbridge, which it's a wild west. So Northbridge is the city in the city there, and it's pretty wild at night time there. You get a lot of violence and stuff. It's fun. It's entertainment anyway. But yeah, there's a lot of violence and stuff, antisocial behaviour and stuff. But it's also social behaviour too. So yeah, I was just there. It's like World War III at one stage. So, but it was interesting meeting all the locals and street people and stuff. So I could probably even do walk and talks if I get my setup, because I've got this thing here, so you can put your phone in there and start recording, do walk and talks. But I think the other good podcasters, they use ones that that when they walk, it like it calibrates itself. So it's, I don't know how it works, but you can walk, but instead of it bouncing and the screen shaking like that, it counterbalance itself. I don't know how that works. So it's always level. It must have water in there or something, because you know water always finds its level. So, or it's magnets. I don't know how it works, but I've seen people use it, like the Dollar Vigilante, the Crow House, and We Are Change. I think they all use. They just record on their phone, but they've got this like device, or maybe it's a GoPro thing or something like that. I don't know. But I did heaps of episodes, but I deleted them all. I should have really backed them up onto storage backup. So I bought a Chromebook, which is nice, the Chrome operating system, but it's very limited, which is frustrating because I can't. The way Google works is Alphabet wants everything on their cloud server and everything online, so there's no offline stuff. So obviously I could put it all onto Google Drive, and I could just buy more data. I think I could buy 100 gigabytes for like I don't know, maybe $15 a month, but then each episode's fucking 4 gigabytes. So I need to use the YouTube server because everything's free on YouTube. So you're using their bandwidth free. But then if I want to copy, well, I can't do it on this computer because I buy a thumb drive and go to plug it in. It won't recognize it because the Chrome operating system only wants to use Google products. So if you go and put a thumb drive, that's a third party storage facility, they're like, no, we don't want you. We want to use Google Cloud and G Drive. We don't want this third party stuff. So it's like Apple, it's all becoming in-house sort of stuff. So that's frustrating. So I can probably download stuff onto my phone using a thumb drive. You can get ones that it's got a USB-C. I wonder if I got it. I've got it. But anyway, it plugs into your phone, and then you can download everything onto your phone, and then I can put everything onto a computer. Or maybe I just go from phone to, yeah, see this thing? So this is what I wanted to do originally, was to get this, and then that will plug into the laptop, and then I can get stuff onto the laptop. But Google Chrome doesn't recognize this. And then on this side, that's the part that goes into your phone. So I can go from phone to thumb drive to desktop, but not Chromebook. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's probably common sense sort of stuff, but it's not common if you don't know. So I'm just finding all this stuff as I go. But yeah, I'm thinking of maybe just migrating over to Google. So maybe get the Google Pixel 6 for my next phone, but I still got 15 months on my contract that I've got left to pay. So I've got to keep this phone because otherwise you'll pay it out. But there's nothing wrong with Samsung. I really like Android and Samsung, but I think like, because the way I look at it, oh yeah, like I'm into eschatology too. So a lot of people, well, everyone's different, but I think like I'm into eschatology, which is the Bible. So the way it works is you got two testaments in here. So you've got the New Testament, which is all about Jesus Christ, right? So the Son of God. And he was the promised Messiah that was talked about in the Old Testament, that the Jews rejected the Messiah and they're still waiting on the first Messiah. But then the first Messiah already came and was rejected. But they still said that he was King of the Jews. So even though they've rejected him as Messiah, they still all said, and it's written, the King of the Jews, right? So that's very funny. But I think they said it mockingly, but the word stands. So the King of the Jews is the King of heaven, hell, earth, of everything. And it's one God, right? So you got the God through faith, through the Abrahamic religion. So Father Abraham was made righteous through his faith. And Abraham had two sons, Ishmael and Isaac. Now, Christians and Jews can trace their lineage back through to Abraham, through Isaac, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and then you've got the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, because I think Jacob changed his name to Israel or something like that, and then maybe the Jews get their lineage through Israel, and Christians get their lineage through Jacob, Isaac, Abraham, Israel. But it's still one person that changed their names. Like even Abraham changed his name from Abram to Abraham, and Sarah changed her name from Sari to Sarah. So, and I think it's a new start where they moved into new countries, new territory, from Ur to the Canaanites. Canaan. I don't know. I'm a bit rusty, but this is kind of like very interesting because it's been going on forever. And well, I mean, the world's not very fun right now. Like, there's a lot of lockdowns going on. There's a lot of anxiety, depression, suicide rates are up, divorce rates are up, domestic violence is up, isolation, just uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in the world, but I think when you put your faith and hope in God or higher power or the universe, I mean, there's very, very many names for one God, right? Oh yeah, and then anyway, the what is it? The Muslims or the Islam, that derives through Hagar's son. So Abraham and Hagar, or Abram and Hagar, had a son named Ishmael. And then Ishmael had the 12 tribes of Ishmael. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not certain, but I'm pretty sure that is where the Muslim faiths come. And it could even be other faiths like Buddhism and stuff. I don't really know. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure all branches of all religions seem to marry back to Abraham. And then Abraham was made righteous through faith. So it's faith in a power that's not seen or touched, but through faith, through belief. So, and then Abraham was a descendant of Noah, descendant of Adam and Eve, descendant of God. So yeah, that I think. But I mean, that's racism's so gone now. Like, if you're still thinking that there's more than one race, the human race, you've lost your marbles there. But maybe with all these vaccines, I mean, I've been hearing theories that people are not going to be human anymore. They're going to be like humanoids. So there could be dual races. It could be vaccinated people and unvaccinated people, and the messenger RNA is changing people's DNA. So they're now like Nephilim, like half man, half machine, or like cyborg or something like that. And that's like the prophet Daniel was talking about, how in the fourth kingdom, the fourth global kingdom, will be iron mixed with clay, or steel and clay, and humans are made from dust and made from clay. And if you're injecting like graphene and 5G connectivity and Elon Musk's Neuralink, where you're now hooked up to the internet, but microchips and AI and all this stuff, but so you can think thoughts, and then that links to the internet. You can download and upload information, a bit like Neo from the Matrix was doing. I think there could be a fourth kingdom of iron mixed with clay, but iron doesn't really mix with clay, so it's going to be a very divided kingdom. And then you've got all these vying powers, like national powers. Then you've got global tech companies who are all vying for power, and at the end of the day, there can only be one supreme ruler, which is, for me, Jesus Christ. But there's going to be a man of perdition, a man of lawlessness, that is the son of perdition, and that's a man with an antichrist spirit. So an antichrist spirit is anything that's not of Christ. And the golden rule is love God, love yourself, and love your neighbor as yourself, which is all one. That's how you reach heaven on earth. It's through love. And right now we live where there's fear and love. So you can live in fear or you can live in love. And both are effective means for getting things done. You do things out of fear or you do things out of love. That's your two options there. So I think the man of lawlessness or son of perdition with the antichrist spirit will have a spirit of fear. And even if you look at like like hitler Hitler was living in extreme anxiety, extreme paranoia, extreme depression, and then that fear was what motivated to become such a world leader, like a global dominance, but completely reprobate mind. So there is power through fear, but it's not through love. And yeah, I think all these global governments and stuff like that and the colored hats, they're all vying for power out of fear, um, because salvation comes through repentance and forgiveness. But when you've done so much like evil and stuff like that, people just won't repent and won't forgive. And you've got these global empires that have dominated through all kinds of wickedness and evil, and it just gets passed on to the next empire, to the next one, to the next one. And so every empire since the beginning of time has just taken the core tenets of domination and then made it and refined it. So you're refining sin, you're refining wickedness to dominate and control and become more powerful. So you got like the Greek Empire, the French Empire, the Spanish Empire, you've got the Roman Empire, you've got the British Empire, you've got the American Empire, you've got the Chinese Empire, you've got Russian Empire, like you've got the Ottoman Empire. There's all these empires that have dominated throughout time, and they just take the effective evil of each one and then try and better it and refine it and perfect it to then become more dominating and more powerful. Egyptian Empire with Samaria, Babylonian. You've all these empires from the beginning of time, and to me, it creates this beast. It's the beast of the earth. It's this fear-driven beast that is what's dictating, controlling, and yeah. So anyway, that's kind of and the way. Who was that man? Winston Churchill. He was the leader of Britain during World War II. He said the further you look into the past, the further you can see into the future. And yeah, so that's kind of what's kind of going on. So if you want to know about history, I normally get my history, well, you can use the internet, but it's also very good to get knowledge of through the Old Testament, because this goes back to Adam and Eve, like in the Garden of Eden. And the way I see it is humans are trees, we're branches. You've got your genealogy, your family line, but you've also got like social media and friends and faith. That's like branches. Every single person has their own story, and your story is connected to someone else's story, who's connected to someone else's story. Like a branch branching out. Your contacts list is a branch. So when they're putting spyware through everything, it's going through the branches to see who's who, and it's creating this global AI beast of the sea database, and that's just what's happening. So yeah, because it says, and God said, let the land produce vegetation, seed-bearing plants and trees on the land to bear fruit with seed in it, according to their various kinds. I see that as humans. So before God created Adam and Eve, there was already humans on the earth, but weren't made by God. Do you know what I mean? So, but we're all made perfect in the eyes of God, but it's through faith in God that makes someone a child of God. You know, it's faith, and so the whole genealogy thing, you know, it creates division because you're going, oh, I'm a Jew, you're a Gentile, I'm a Gentile, you're a Jew. Already, you've now separated one race. Straight away, you've separated one race. And there's always going to be division if someone thinks their genealogy is better than someone else's. Shouldn't work like that. So, yeah, one race, one God, and one people. And it's animals, plants. The earth produced everything. You know, the heavens and the earth was produced by one God. So you can't separate the two. You just can't. As soon as you start separating things, that's where evil comes in. So anyway, yeah, various plants bearing seed. So I think we're all plants and trees, and it's metaphorical. And we all produce seed. We all have children, kids, and continue the family line or whatever. Not everyone, like it's obviously not everyone has children and stuff, but I believe I see myself and ourselves as trees. And before God said, let us make mankind in our image, in our likeness, so they may rule over the fish in the sea, over the birds in the sky, over the livestock and all the wild animals, and over all creatures that move along the ground. That was after the vegetation was produced and seed-bearing plants and trees. And I think seed-bearing plants and trees are humans from all walks of life. You look at Jesus, he was nailed to a cross, and you got the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. I think that's humans. Do you know what I mean? And yes, it's the trees. It's the bloody peppermint tree and whatever plants and trees that you see out there in the bush, but it's also human beings and various kinds. That's your different, not races, because there's only one race, but they're your Russians, your Australians, your Israelis, your Americans, your British, your Germans, the French. All these people are from different kinds of plants and trees, but it's one race, and that's mankind. So, which isn't very kind. Well, we have the ability to be kind, but we have the ability to not be so kind. And if your fruit doesn't bear good works, then you're wasting. If it's not beneficial, if you're unfruitful, then you're obviously consuming knowledge of good and evil. Because if you're producing life-bearing fruit, then you have a positive impact on humanity. If your fruit's bearing wickedness and evil, you're being unfruitful because you're making life more unpleasant. So you've got to guard your words. And the crow agrees with me up there, and the chooks. So yeah, you want to just be mindful of everything you say, really, because I suppose words have power, and yeah, that's just how it is. But yeah, don't be ignorant to the wickedness in the world, because there obviously is. But try and make the world a better place, and you do that through building other people up, through listening to other people's stories, to having love and compassion on your fellow neighbour. That's how you do it. I mean, obviously, don't back down, don't take a backward step, but don't incite psychosis and anger and aggression. That's kind of it. So anyway, that's the end of episode 1 on my new channel, which is probably episode 4 on the last channel. I'll probably have to migrate them over, but anyway, that's the Admiral speaking, or the Great Helmsman speaking. Thanks for watching my podcast. I'm your Great Helmsman, and see you on the next episode. Bye bye.